We're incredibly grateful for your support. Before we begin today's tale, tell us, which city or country are you joining us from? We love connecting with our global audience. Now, let's dive into today's story. Chapter 1. Perfect Lives and Perfect Lies. Travis Reed adjusted his tie in the bathroom mirror, his calloused fingers working despite their roughness. The morning routine hadn't changed in 5 years. Up at 0500, workout, shower, dress, breakfast with Skylar. Today shouldn't have been different, but something nagged at him, an invisible thread pulling at the edge of his consciousness. He studied his reflection. At 42, his face carried the marks of his service years, but regular exercise kept him fit. The suit was new, a gift from Skylar for their anniversary last month. "You need to look the part for your clients," she'd said, smoothing the lapels with manicured hands. The memory brought a smile to his face, though it faded as he recalled her recent distance. Downstairs, the kitchen counter displayed evidence of Skylar's usual morning rush, a half-empty coffee cup, scattered granola bar wrapper, her tablet propped against the fruit bowl. Travis picked up the tablet, meaning to put it away, when a notification flashed across the screen. A message preview from someone named Cole. "Looking forward to our meeting about the youth center funding. Your ideas are brilliant as always." Travis set the tablet down, his training kicking in automatically. Don't react. Document. Observe. The message itself was innocuous enough. Skylar managed the local youth center, after all. But something in his gut, the same instinct that had kept him alive in Afghanistan, told him to pay attention. He pulled out his phone, opening the Notes app he used for client security assessments. Under a new entry labeled Home Observations, he typed, "Tuesday, 0645, message from Cole Ree, Youth Center funding." First mention of this contact. The sound of keys in the front door interrupted his thoughts. Skylar breezed in, her heels clicking against the floor. Her dark hair was pulled back in a sophisticated twist, and her navy blazer matched the new Hermes bag hanging from her shoulder, a bag Travis didn't remember discussing. "You're back early," he said, keeping his tone casual. "Thought you had that morning yoga class." Skylar's hand tightened momentarily on her bag strap. "Oh, Claire canceled. Something about her kid being sick." She moved to the coffee maker, her back to him. "I figured I'd grab some papers from home before heading to the center. We got a board meeting about the summer programs." Travis noted how she didn't meet his eyes, how her shoulders held tension they hadn't carried minutes ago. He added to his notes, 0647, returns home, claims canceled yoga. New bag present. "The center must be keeping you busy," he said, leaning against the counter. "You've been working late a lot recently." "We've got that new grant proposal due," Skylar replied, dumping her cold coffee and starting a fresh cup. "And the board wants to expand our after-school programs. It's a lot of paperwork." Travis nodded, remembering the funding reports he'd glimpsed last week while doing some security upgrades at the center. The official hours logged didn't match Skylar's recent schedule, but he kept that observation to himself. Speaking of work, Skylar continued, checking her phone. "I should get going. Don't wait up tonight. We got another late meeting." She kissed his cheek, the gesture automatic, lacking the warmth it once held. Her perfume was different too. Something new, more exotic than her usual choice. Another detail for his mental file. After she left, Travis sat at the kitchen island, opening his laptop. 5 years in private security had taught him the value of thorough documentation. He created a secure folder labeled Family Updates and began organizing his observations. The morning light painted patterns on the counter as he worked, reviewing the past few weeks. Skylar's changing schedule had started 6 months ago, around the time several new board members joined the youth center. Her excessive shopping had begun more recently. The new bag was just the latest in a string of luxury purchases that didn't align with their usual budget discussions. Travis pulled up their joint account statements, his security background making it second nature to look for patterns. Regular charges at Le Blanc, an upscale restaurant downtown, appeared on days Skylar claimed to be working late. The youth center's modest budget wouldn't cover meals there. His phone buzzed, a text from Marcus Wong, his old Marine buddy turned PI. "Hey brother, got time for coffee? Need your input on a surveillance setup." Travis typed back quickly, "Murphy's Diner, 1100? Marcus's reply came instantly, Roger that. Travis saved his notes and closed the laptop. He had questions that needed answers, and Marcus might be able to help him get them. But first, he had another stop to make. The youth center occupied an old Victorian building downtown, its brick facade freshly painted thanks to a recent renovation grant. Travis pulled into the visitor lot, noting Skylar's car was absent despite her mentioned board meeting. Rachel Chun, the center's accountant, looked up as he entered the front office. Her eyes widened slightly behind her glasses. "Mr. Reed, I didn't know you were scheduled for a security check today. Just dropping by," Travis said easily. "Thought I'd check on that new camera system we installed. Mind if I take a look at the logs?" Rachel hesitated, then nodded. "Of course. Mrs. Reed isn't here right now. Board meeting, right?" Travis watched her reaction carefully. Board meeting? Rachel's confusion was genuine. "That's not until next week. But she did leave with Mr. Blackwood about an hour ago. Something about reviewing potential properties for our expansion." Travis kept his expression neutral even as his mind recorded the information. "Cole Blackwood? The new board member?" Rachel nodded, lowering her voice. "He's been very involved since joining the board, always scheduling private meetings with Mrs. Reed to discuss funding." She glanced around before continuing. "Actually, Mr. Reed, there's something I've been meaning to bring up about the center's finances." Travis checked his watch. "I've got a meeting in 30, Rachel, but why don't we grab coffee tomorrow? Say, 0900? Relief crossed her face. "Yes, that would be good. There are some numbers that don't quite add up." Travis left the youth center with more questions than answers, his military training helping him compartmentalize the emotions threatening to surface. He'd learned in Afghanistan that rushing to conclusions got people killed. The same principle applied here: gather intel, verify facts, plan responses. Murphy's Diner sat on a quiet corner, its faded awning and weathered sign concealing one of the best breakfast spots in town. Marcus was already in their usual booth, 2 coffee cups waiting on the table. "You look like you're planning an op," Marcus said by way of greeting. His years as a PI hadn't softened his military bearing, though his tailored suit replaced the familiar tactical gear. Travis slid into the booth, taking a sip of coffee black, 2 sugars, just how he liked it. "Might need your help with something." "Off the books." Marcus leaned back, his expression serious. "Personal or professional?" "Both." Travis pulled out his phone, showing Marcus his notes. "Need background on a Cole Blackwood, real estate developer, new board member at Skylar's Youth Center. And while you're at it, look into any connection he might have with Diana Martinez." Marcus raised an eyebrow. "Skylar's mother? The society queen? Something's not adding up, brother." "Skylar's schedule, her spending, new board members showing up 6 months ago. I need to know what I'm dealing with." Marcus studied his old friend's face. They'd served 3 tours together, faced firefights and IEDs. But he'd never seen Travis look quite this controlled, this focused. It was the look of a man preparing for war. "I'll start digging," Marcus said, pulling out his own phone. "Give me 48 hours. "But Travis." He paused, choosing his words carefully. "Are you sure you want to pull this thread?" Travis stared into his coffee cup, remembering Skylar's laugh at their wedding. The way she'd looked in her mother's vineyard. Diana Martinez's barely concealed disdain for the soldier boy her daughter had chosen. "I need to know the truth," he said finally. "Whatever it is." Marcus nodded, understanding. They'd learned in the Marines that sometimes the worst part wasn't the firefight. It was the waiting, knowing the ambush was coming but not knowing when or where it would hit. "I've got your 6, Marcus said simply. "Always have, always will." Travis felt some of the tension ease from his shoulders. He wasn't alone in this fight, whatever it turned out to be. And if his suspicions were correct, he'd need all the allies he could get. The rest of their meal passed with lighter conversation, but both men recognized the calm before the storm. Travis returned to his office afterward, diving into client work to keep his mind focused. But part of him was already preparing, strategizing, remembering lessons learned in combat that he never thought he'd need in civilian life. That evening, Skylar returned home later than usual, her cheeks flushed from wine. Travis pretended to be absorbed in security reports while noting her disheveled appearance, the slight smudge in her lipstick, the way she avoided his gaze while chattering about a productive meeting. Later, lying awake in bed, Travis listened to Skylar's steady breathing and made his decision. Tomorrow he would meet with Rachel Chen, hear what she had to say about the center's finances. He would start his own investigation, using skills honed from years of security work. Every detail would be documented, irregularity logged. The betrayal cut deep, but Travis wouldn't let emotion cloud his judgment. He had learned patience in the sandbox of Afghanistan. He would need it now, because if his instincts were right, and they usually were, he was about to uncover something far worse than a simple affair. In the darkness, Travis Reed began planning his response to whatever truth he would discover. He hadn't survived war zones by being unprepared, and he wouldn't start now. The next few weeks would require all his training, all his discipline, and every resource he could muster. The game had begun, whether Skylar knew it or not. And Travis Reed played to win. Chapter 2. The Web of Deceit. The morning sun barely peeked over the horizon when Travis arrived at the Daily Grind, a small coffee shop 2 blocks from the youth center. Rachel Chen sat at a corner table, nervously shredding a napkin, her laptop closed in front of her. "Thank you for meeting me," she said as Travis set 2 coffee cups on the table. I wasn't sure if I should say anything, but something isn't right with the numbers." Travis settled into his chair, noting how Rachel's hands trembled slightly as she opened her laptop. "Start from the beginning," he said quietly. "Take your time." Rachel pulled up a spreadsheet, turning the screen so Travis could see. It started about 4 months ago. Small discrepancies at first. Expense reports that didn't quite match our programs. Invoices for services we don't usually use. Travis leaned forward, his security training kicking in as he studied the numbers. "These consulting fees," he pointed to a column. "They're being paid to BW Development?" "One of Mr. Blackwood's companies," Rachel confirmed, pushing her glasses up. "Mrs. Reed approved them for strategic planning services. But when I asked for documentation of the actual services provided, she trailed off, her implication clear." Travis screen grabbed the spreadsheet, sending it to his secure email. "What else have you noticed about Cole Blackwood's involvement?" Rachel glanced around before lowering her voice. "He's always there, always finding reasons to meet with Mrs. Reed privately. And lately I've noticed Mrs. Martinez, your mother-in-law, visiting more often too. They seem familiar with each other." Travis's jaw tightened almost imperceptibly. "How so?" "Last week, I overheard them in the conference room. Mrs. Martinez was saying something about how everything was going according to plan, and Mr. Blackwood laughed about the perfect setup. I wouldn't have thought anything of it, but... Rachel pulled up another document. That same day, Mrs. Reed approved a transfer of $50,000 to BW Development for property acquisition consultation. "Mr. Reed," she hesitated. "That money was supposed to fund our summer youth program." Travis felt a cold anger settling in his chest, but his voice remained steady. "Rachel, I need you to document everything you found. Can you do that safely?" She nodded, some of her nervousness fading. "I've been keeping copies of everything. I didn't know who to trust." "You did the right thing," Travis assured her. "But for now, act normal. Don't let anyone know we've talked." After leaving Rachel, Travis headed straight to his office, his mind already formulating plans. He pulled up a secure server and began creating files, financial records, dates, names. His phone buzzed with a text from Marcus. "Got info on Blackwood. Need to meet. Usual place, 1300? Travis confirmed the meeting and spent the next few hours reviewing Rachel's data. The pattern was clear: money flowing from youth center accounts through various shell companies, all connected to Cole Blackwood. But why would Diana Martinez be involved? Murphy's Diner was quieter at lunch than breakfast. Marcus arrived with a thick folder, his expression grim. "You're not going to like this, brother," he said, sliding into the booth. "Cole Blackwood isn't just a real estate developer. He's got a pattern." Travis sipped his coffee, waiting. 3 cities in the past 5 years, Marcus continued, spreading out photographs. Each time, he joins charitable organizations, gets close to married board members. Always women from wealthy families. Always ends the same way. Money disappears, marriages collapse, and Blackwood moves on. Travis studied the photos, Cole Blackwood at various charity events. Always handsome, always charming, always with a different woman on his arm. And Diana Martinez? Marcus pulled out another document. They've known each other for years. Met through the social circuit back when Blackwood was working his scheme in Boston. I found records of phone calls between them dating back months before he showed up at the youth center. She orchestrated this, Travis said quietly, the pieces falling into place. Diana never approved of me. She saw Blackwood as her chance to fix what she saw as her daughter's mistake. There's more, Marcus added, his voice low. Elizabeth Foster, one of Blackwood's previous targets in Seattle. Her family lost millions. She's been trying to warn others, but Blackwood's lawyers hit her with cease and desist orders. Travis leaned back, his military training helping him process the information without emotional reaction. Can you make contact with her? Marcus nodded. Already working on it. But Travis, there's something else you should know. I found a connection to James Martinez. Travis's eyebrows rose slightly. Skylar's father had vanished from the family years ago, pushed out of the family business by Diana in what Skylar had always described as an amicable separation. Seems the separation wasn't so amicable, Marcus continued. Found court records sealed, but my contact got access. Diana used some creative accounting to force James out. The man's been living in Arizona, watching his ex-wife and daughter from afar. Travis absorbed this information, adding it to his mental map of the situation. Can you reach him? Already did. He's willing to talk. Says he's been waiting for someone to finally see through Diana's facade. Their conversation was interrupted by Travis's phone. A text from Skylar. Working late again. Don't wait up. Love you. Travis showed the message to Marcus, who quickly pulled up something on his tablet. Le Blanc restaurant reservation for 8 p.m. Under Blackwood's name, Travis felt the familiar combat calm settling over him. I need everything you can get on Blackwood's previous victims. And Marcus, I need you to set up surveillance. Discreet professional grade. Marcus studied his friend's face. You're going to war? Aren't you? They brought the war to me, Travis replied quietly. I'm just going to make sure they regret that decision. The next few weeks passed in a blur of careful investigation and documentation. Travis maintained his normal routine, playing the role of unsuspecting husband while building his case. Rachel Chin continued providing financial documents, protected by careful legal documentation Travis helped her prepare. Marcus's surveillance revealed a pattern of meetings between Skylar and Cole, always under the guise of youth center business. Diana Martinez's involvement became clearer with each passing day. Travis observed her calculated appearances at youth center events, watching how she maneuvered conversations to highlight Cole's achievements while subtly undermining Travis's contributions. Cole's latest development project will bring such wonderful opportunities to the community, Diana would say, her voice carrying across cocktail receptions. It's refreshing to see someone with real business vision taking an interest in our cause. Travis documented every interaction, every subtle dig. His security training had taught him the value of building a complete picture before taking action. The pieces were falling into place, revealing a conspiracy more complex than a simple affair. Chapter 3: The Catalyst. The evening of Skylar's promotion celebration arrived with an air of tension that only Travis seemed to notice. Le Blanc's private dining room sparkled with crystal and silver, Diana Martinez's choice of venue making her intentions clear. This was a display of wealth and power. Travis adjusted his tie, watching Skylar hold court at the center of the room. Her black dress probably cost more than his first car, another recent purchase she dismissed as necessary for her position. Cole Blackwood stood nearby, his tailored suit and practiced smile making him look every inch the successful businessman. Travis, darling, Diana Martinez approached, champagne glass in hand. I hope you're not too uncomfortable in these surroundings. I know Le Blanc is a bit more upscale than your usual haunts. I managed just fine, Diana. Travis replied evenly, noting how several youth center board members shifted uncomfortably at her tone. Rachel Chun, sitting quietly at a corner table, caught his eye briefly. Mom, stop it, Skylar intervened, but her laugh held no real reproach. Travis doesn't mind. Do you, honey? Travis watched his wife lean slightly toward Cole as she spoke, their bodies aligned in unconscious intimacy. Not at all. I find the view quite educational. Cole raised his glass. A toast to our new executive director, Skylar. Your leadership will take the youth center to new heights. The room echoed with congratulations, but Travis noted Rachel Chen's slight frown. They both knew the real state of the center's finances under Skylar's leadership. Speaking of leadership, Diana announced, Cole has some exciting news about a new development project that could provide amazing opportunities for our programs. Travis observed the choreographed performance. Cole's modest demurral, Skylar's eager encouragement, Diana's proud smile. He checked his phone, confirming Marcus's text. All in position. Board members accounted for. The waiter arrived with the wine list, and Travis watched the familiar pattern unfold. Diana ordered the most expensive bottle. Cole and Skylar exchanged knowing smiles, and the trap was set. When the bill arrived, Travis studied it thoughtfully. The total could have funded 3 months of after-school programs. He closed the leather folder and set it aside. Travis, Diana's voice carried a warning edge. Surely you're not expecting Cole to pay for your wife's celebration? Actually, Travis replied calmly, I was thinking about the children who won't have summer programs this year due to unexpected budget shortfalls. The temperature in the room seemed to drop. Skylar's face flushed. Travis, what are you talking about? This isn't the time. When is the time, Skylar? When the youth center's accounts are completely drained. When Cole's consulting fees have bankrupted every program. Cole stepped forward, his charm hardening into something uglier. Now see here, Reed. No, you see here, Travis interrupted, pulling out a familiar folder. He placed it carefully on the table, aware of the board members watching intently. Before anyone makes threats or accusations, you might want to review these documents. The folder contained everything. Financial records showing the diverted funds, surveillance photos of Cole and Skylar's business meetings, evidence of Diana's orchestration of their introduction. Travis had timed this moment carefully, ensuring maximum impact. Skylar grabbed the folder, her hands shaking as she opened it. The color drained from her face as she realized what she was seeing. Cole tried to maintain his composure, but his eyes darted toward the exits. You bastard, Skylar hissed, reaching for her wine glass. You've been spying on me? The red wine splashed across Travis's white shirt, but he didn't flinch. He'd known this was coming, had counted on it, in fact. The board members' gasps echoed in the sudden silence. No, Skylar, Travis said quietly, standing. I've been protecting the children you claim to care about. The ones whose programs you've been defunding to finance your affair and shopping sprees. He turned to the shocked board members. You'll find complete documentation of the financial mismanagement in those papers. I suggest you review them carefully. Rachel Chen can verify all the numbers. Rachel straightened in her chair, clutching her own copy of the records. Diana's attempt to intervene was cut short as several board members moved to block her path. Travis walked toward the exit, his wine-stained shirt a badge of honor rather than shame. He paused at the door, looking back at the tableau he'd arranged, Skylar clutching the damning documents, Cole's mask of confidence crumbling, Diana's social power evaporating in real time. I'd suggest you all lawyer up, he said calmly. The police will have questions about those missing funds. The door closed behind him with a quiet click, leaving chaos in his wake. In the parking lot, Marcus waited in his car, monitoring equipment capturing every moment of the aftermath. Clean exit, Marcus commented as Travis slid into the passenger seat. You sure about this timeline? Travis nodded, already reviewing the evening's recording on his tablet. The board members will act quickly to protect themselves. Diana will try to contain the damage. And Cole? He smiled slightly. Cole will do what he always does. Try to run, but you're ready for that. I'm ready for everything, Travis confirmed. This was just the opening move. As they drove away from LeBlanc, Travis felt no satisfaction, no triumph. His marriage was over, but the truth was finally exposed. He had played this first hand perfectly, revealing just enough to set his larger plan in motion while maintaining his position as the wrong party. The real work would begin tomorrow, but for now, Travis Reed had accomplished his first objective. The facade had crumbled, and the true nature of Skylar, Cole, and Diana's conspiracy lay exposed for all to see. His phone buzzed with messages from concerned board members, each one confirming that his strategy had worked. The youth center's leadership would have no choice but to act on the evidence he'd provided. Skylar's carefully constructed world was falling apart, just as she had tried to destroy his. But Travis knew this was just the beginning. He had learned in combat that the first engagement was never the decisive one. The real battle lay ahead, and he had only revealed a fraction of his evidence and resources. For now, though, he had achieved his immediate goal. The truth was out, the players were revealed, and the next phase could begin. Travis Reed, the man they had underestimated, had struck the first blow in what would become a carefully orchestrated campaign of justice. Chapter 4: Counterattack. The morning after the Le Blanc incident, Travis arrived at his office to find an email from his largest client canceling their contract. The message cited concerns about recent behavior and stability issues. 3 more cancellation notices followed before lunch. His phone buzzed. A text from Marcus. Diana Martinez spotted at the country club with Jessica Whitman. Travis's jaw tightened. Jessica's husband sat on the board of 2 security firms that contracted his services. The Whisper campaign had begun. He opened his laptop, pulling up contingency plans developed months ago. A notification popped up. Rachel Chun requesting a secure video call. They're trying to lock me out of the system. Rachel's voice trembled slightly. Mrs. Martinez showed up with IT consultants, claiming they need to audit all financial records. Did you secure the backups we discussed? Yes. Everything's encrypted and stored off-site. But Mr. Reed, Rachel glanced over her shoulder. They're saying things about you, about PTSD episodes and violent outbursts. Some of the staff are scared. Travis nodded, unsurprised. Diana's playbook: discredit the threat, isolate the target. Keep your head down, Rachel. Don't let them know you're still in contact with me. After ending the call, Travis reviewed his morning emails. His office landlord had sent a notice. Building renovations would require him to relocate within 30 days. Cole Blackwood's influence at work, no doubt. His phone rang, an unlisted number. Mr. Reed? A woman's voice, cultured but hesitant. My name is Elizabeth Foster. Marcus Wong suggested I contact you. Travis straightened. Mrs. Foster. I've been hoping to speak with you. Is this line secure? Yes. Marcus would have made sure of that. A pause, then. They destroyed my family, Mr. Reed. Cole Blackwood and his schemes. We lost everything: money, reputation, relationships. The lawyers buried us in paperwork until we couldn't fight anymore. But you kept records, Travis said quietly. Documentation of everything. Bank transfers, emails, photos. I couldn't use it because of the NDA, but... She took a breath. I want to help you stop them from doing this to anyone else. Travis pulled up a secure file transfer protocol. I'm sending you an encrypted link. We need to move carefully. They'll be watching for any connection between us. They already started their smear campaign, haven't they? The PTSD rumors, the whispers about instability. Standard tactics, Travis confirmed. But I've got something they don't expect. What's that? Patience. And friends who understand the long game. After arranging a secure meeting with Elizabeth, Travis headed to Murphy's Diner. 3 familiar faces occupied his usual booth. Marcus Wong and 2 other members of his old Marine unit, Mike Ramirez and John Shin. Heard you could use some backup, boss, Mike said, his scarred face breaking into a grin. John nodded, his usual quiet self. Marcus filled us in. We got your 6. Travis slid into the booth, noting how other patrons gave their table a wide berth. Mike and John still carried themselves like the operators they'd been, alert and dangerous despite their civilian clothes. Diana Martinez is spreading PTSD rumors, Travis explained. Cole Blackwood's using his connections to pressure my clients. They're trying to paint me as unstable, violent. Want us to pay Blackwood a visit? Mike's grin turned predatory. No, Travis said firmly. We do this smart. I need you visible, but not threatening. Security consultants, nothing more. Let them see I'm not isolated. Marcus pulled out his tablet. Elizabeth Foster's intel is solid. Found 2 more families Blackwood targeted in the past year. Same pattern: charity organizations, married board members missing funds. Make contact, Travis instructed. Carefully. They'll be watching for anyone gathering evidence. The diner's door chimed. Rachel Chin hurried in, clutching her laptop bag. They fired me, she announced, sliding in beside Marcus. Said they're restructuring the accounting department. But I downloaded everything before they locked me out. Travis nodded approvingly. Good work. We'll need. His phone buzzed. Another text from an unknown number. This is James Martinez. We should talk. Travis showed the message to Marcus, who was already running a verification check. It's legitimate. Sending through his current location now. Travis studied the information. Skylar's father had been living in Phoenix, running a small consulting firm. The message had come from a local number. He was in town. John might stick with Rachel. Make sure she's safe. Marcus, set up surveillance on the youth center board members. I need to meet someone. James Martinez waited in a small coffee shop across town, his appearance markedly different from the photos in Travis's files. The once powerful businessman looked older, grayer, but his eyes were sharp. You're making waves, James said as Travis sat down. Diana's terrified, though she'd never admit it. You've been watching them? James sipped his coffee. For years, waiting for someone to see through their facades. Diana didn't just push me out of the business. She turned my own daughter against me with lies about embezzlement and affairs. And now you want revenge? I want justice, James corrected. And I have proof of what Diana did. Bank records, forged documents, witness statements. Everything she used to steal my company and destroy my reputation. Travis leaned forward. Why help me? You don't know me? I know enough. You protected those kids at the youth center. You exposed the truth despite knowing what it would cost you. James pulled out a USB drive. Diana thinks she destroyed all copies of these files. She's wrong. Travis pocketed the drive. They'll come after you if they discover you're helping me. James smiled grimly. Let them try. I've got nothing left to lose and everything to gain by seeing Diana finally face consequences. Back at his office, Travis began coordinating his growing network of allies. Elizabeth Foster connected him with other families Cole had destroyed. James Martinez's evidence provided leverage against Diana's social attacks. Rachel Chin's financial documentation built an ironclad case of fraud. But Skylar and Cole weren't finished. Travis's security system pinged, someone trying to access his office after hours. The surveillance feed showed two men in maintenance uniforms, but their movements betrayed professional training. Travis speed-dialed Marcus. We got visitors. Cole's bringing in muscle. On it, Marcus replied. Mike and John are en route. Want me to call it in? No. Let them think they scared me. We need them confident, sloppy. The next few weeks became a chess game of moves and countermoves. Diana's whisper campaign intensified, but Travis's Marine friends made sure his side of the story spread too. Cole's business pressures mounted as Travis's network quietly warned potential partners about his history. Travis maintained his calm exterior, letting them think their attacks were working. Each accusation, each attempt at intimidation, only strengthened his position. The man they thought they could break was far stronger than they knew. And he was just getting started. Chapter 5, The Hidden Hand. Elizabeth Foster's living room looked like a war room. Photos and documents covered the tables, each piece of evidence connecting Cole Blackwood to another ruined family. Karen Mitchell in Boston, Elizabeth pointed to a photo. Cole joined her hospital's charitable foundation. 6 months later, her marriage was over and $3 million had vanished through fake consulting contracts. Travis studied the pattern. Always medical or youth charities. Always board members with access to funds. And always women with influential families, Sarah Blackwood added. Cole's ex-wife sat rigidly in an armchair, her presence a carefully guarded secret. He picks targets whose social connections can protect him from consequences. Marcus entered, carrying fresh coffee. Found 2 more cases in Chicago. Same MO. Cole gets close to married board members. Diana Martinez shows up at social events. Then everything falls apart. Diana's the key, Sarah said quietly. She gives Cole social legitimacy, helps him identify vulnerable targets. I tried to warn people after our divorce, but his lawyers buried me in legal threats. Travis pulled up his secure laptop. Not this time. We've got documented evidence from multiple cases. Elizabeth's legal team is ready to move once we give the signal. They'll try to discredit us, Elizabeth warned. They'll say we're bitter, unstable conspiracy theorists. Let them, Travis replied. Each attack just adds credibility to our pattern. Marcus, what's the status on Cole's business partners? Marcus grinned, starting to get nervous. Those anonymous tips about his history with charity organizations got their attention. 3 development deals suspended pending internal review. Travis's phone buzzed. Rachel Chun. Mr. Reed? They're moving funds again. Large transfers to offshore accounts. Document everything, Travis instructed. They're getting desperate. After the call, Travis outlined the next phase. Elizabeth's legal team would begin filing civil suits, coordinated for maximum impact. Sarah would prepare to break her NDA, her testimony establishing Cole's pattern of behavior. James Martinez's evidence would keep Diana contained. What about Skylar? Elizabeth asked gently. Travis paused. Despite everything, saying his wife's name still hurt. She made her choice. Now she faces the consequences. The meeting continued late into the night, strategies refined and contingencies planned. Travis's network grew stronger while Cole's carefully constructed world began showing cracks. But the real challenge lay in coordinating their attacks. Each move had to seem isolated, unconnected to Travis. Let Cole and Diana think they were facing random setbacks rather than a coordinated campaign. Marcus tracked their reactions through his surveillance network. Diana's social appearances became more frantic, her attempts to maintain control more obvious. Cole's business meetings grew tenser as partners questioned his history. Travis received regular updates from his Marine friends, now highly visible around town as his security consultants. Their presence sent a clear message. Physical intimidation wouldn't work. Got something, Marcus announced one evening, rushing into Travis's office. Cole's ex-partner in Seattle. Guy named Peter Morrison. He's willing to talk. Travis reviewed Morrison's file. What's his angle? Revenge. Cole screwed him on a development deal, cost him millions. He's got documentation of illegal practices, permit violations, bribes. Make contact. Carefully. Cole will be watching his old partners. The pieces were falling into place. Each new ally brought resources, evidence, motivation. Travis coordinated them all, ensuring their attacks remained seemingly random while building toward a single goal. Elizabeth Foster's legal team began filing suits in different jurisdictions, each case revealing more of Cole's pattern. Sarah Blackwood prepared her statement, her testimony ready to corroborate others' experiences. James Martinez provided crucial intelligence about Diana's social circle, identifying pressure points and potential allies. Rachel Chin's financial documentation built an airtight case of fraud and misappropriation. But their enemies weren't idle. Diana's social campaign intensified, targeting Travis's remaining business relationships. Cole's real estate connections brought increasing pressure on Travis's operations. The turning point came during a charity gala. Diana had insisted Skylar attend, maintaining their facade of social standing. Travis watched through Marcus's surveillance as his wife played her role, laughing and charming donors while Cole worked the room. But something had changed. Travis noticed the slight strain in Skylar's smile, the tension in her shoulders. She was beginning to realize the magnitude of her mistakes. They're planning something, Marcus warned during their daily briefing. Cole's been meeting with private security contractors. Diana's calling in old favors from law enforcement contacts. Travis nodded, unsurprised. They're running out of options. Time to push them harder. He authorized Elizabeth's team to file their first major lawsuit, naming Cole's companies and revealing his pattern of financial fraud. Sarah Blackwood gave an anonymous interview to a business journal, describing Cole's tactics in detail. The response was swift. Cole's lawyers filed harassment claims, alleging a conspiracy to damage his reputation. Diana intensified her whisper campaign, now suggesting Travis was organizing a criminal vendetta. But Travis had anticipated this too. Each legal threat was met with overwhelming evidence. Each rumor was countered with documented facts. His network of allies grew stronger while theirs began showing cracks. The man they had dismissed as a simple security consultant was proving far more dangerous than they had imagined. And he was just getting started. Chapter 6, The Turning Point. Travis Reed's office was dark when the security alert pinged his phone. Motion sensors triggered at the youth center well after closing hours. The surveillance feed showed two figures in maintenance uniforms entering through a service door. Right on schedule, Marcus commented, monitoring from his laptop. Want me to call it in? Not yet, Travis replied. Let's see what they're after. The figures moved with purpose, heading straight for the administrative section. Their target was clear. The financial records Rachel Chun had protected before her dismissal. Travis's phone buzzed, a text from Mike Ramirez. In position. John's got the exits covered. The trap was set. Travis had known they would try something like this. Desperate people made predictable moves. He watched through multiple camera feeds as the intruders accessed the accounting office. Got movement at the front, Marcus reported. Black SUV just pulled up. Cole Blackwood behind the wheel. Travis nodded. Keep recording. This is what we've been waiting for. The intruders emerged from the office carrying hard drives and files. They moved quickly toward the exit, unaware of the surveillance capturing their actions. Now, Marcus asked. Now. Multiple things happened simultaneously. Police cruisers, silently waiting nearby, activated their lights. Mike and John emerged from hiding, blocking escape routes. And Rachel Chun, who had been working late in a different office, triggered the building's security lockdown. The intruders found themselves trapped between armed police and Travis's Marine friends. Cole's SUV peeled away, abandoning his hired help to face the consequences. Send the footage to Elizabeth's team, Travis instructed, and make sure the responding officers get copies of Rachel's financial documentation. The next morning's headlines were exactly what Travis had anticipated. Break-in at youth center reveals financial scandal. Cole's attempted theft had brought renewed scrutiny to the center's operations, giving Rachel Chun the perfect opportunity to present her evidence to authorities. But Travis knew this was just the beginning. Cornered opponents fought hardest, and both Cole and Skylar had everything to lose. The counterattack came through official channels. Travis found himself facing accusations of theft and fraud, allegedly documented by youth center security footage. Witnesses came forward claiming they'd seen him removing files late at night. They doctored the surveillance tapes. Marcus confirmed after analyzing the evidence. Pretty good job, too. But they didn't know about our backup systems. Travis allowed himself a small smile. Let them think they have me. Time to spring the trap. He had prepared for this moment. While Cole and Skylar celebrated their apparent victory, Travis's allies moved into position. Elizabeth Foster's legal team filed their coordinated lawsuits. Sarah Blackwood gave her explosive interview. James Martinez released evidence of Diana's past financial misconduct. The community reaction was immediate. Youth center families, learning how their children's programs have been defunded, turned against Skylar. Cole's business partners, already nervous about the rumors, began actively distancing themselves. Travis watched it all unfold from Murphy's Diner, surrounded by his most trusted allies. Marcus coordinated surveillance, tracking their opponents' increasingly desperate reactions. Mike and John maintained visible security presence, deterring any thoughts of physical retaliation. They're running scared, Elizabeth reported during their daily update. Cole's lawyers are trying to block our lawsuits, but each filing just brings more victims forward. Rachel Chun nodded in agreement. The forensic accountants found everything. They can't hide the money trail anymore. Travis studied the latest reports. Cole's business empire showed mounting stress as partners withdrew and projects stalled. Skylar's position at the youth center became untenable as board members demanded answers about missing funds. But Diana Martinez proved the most dangerous. Her social influence, though diminished, still carried weight. She launched a final offensive, spreading rumors about Travis's mental state and suggesting he had orchestrated a complex conspiracy. Let her talk, Travis instructed his allies. Each accusation just makes our evidence more compelling. The turning point came unexpectedly. One of Cole's hired men, facing criminal charges for the break-in, decided to cooperate with authorities. His testimony confirmed the connection between Cole and the attempted theft of financial records. Travis's phone lit up with a text from Skylar. We need to talk. Alone. He showed the message to Marcus, who immediately began security preparations. "We do this on our terms," Marcus said, already coordinating with Mike and John. Public location, full surveillance, multiple exit routes. Travis chose a small coffee shop downtown. His Marine friends secured the perimeter while Marcus set up discreet recording equipment. They weren't taking chances, not with Skylar's history of deception. She arrived precisely on time, her outfit unable to hide her obvious strain. The confident socialite from Le Blanc was gone, replaced by someone who finally realized the depth of her situation. "You've destroyed everything," she said without preamble, sliding into the seat across from Travis. "No, Skylar. You did that yourself." Travis kept his voice neutral. "The youth center funds, the affair, the attempted frame-up, those were your choices. What do you want?" Her voice cracked slightly. "Money? Public apology? Name it. I want justice. For the kids whose programs you defunded. For the families Cole has destroyed. For everyone who trusted you." Skylar's composure slipped further. "You don't understand. Cole has connections, powerful people. They'll destroy you, like Diana's whisper campaign, or the doctored security footage. How's that working out?" She flinched. "Mom was trying to protect me. She thought Cole would be better for me than—" She trailed off. "Than a former Marine who actually cared about the youth center's mission?" Travis leaned forward. "Your mother orchestrated this entire thing, Skylar. Cole's appearance at the center, your promotion, all of it. Ask yourself why." Travis could see the doubt creeping into her expression. The carefully constructed narrative she'd built was crumbling, leaving her to face uncomfortable truths. "It's not too late," he said quietly. "You can still do the right thing. Help us expose Cole's pattern of fraud. Show the board you were manipulated." Skylar's hands trembled as she reached for her water glass. "He'll never let me. None of them will. They can't stop you. Not anymore." Travis pulled out his phone, showing her the growing evidence against Cole. "We have proof of everything. The only question is whether you'll go down with them or help us make it right." Their conversation was interrupted by Travis's phone buzzing, an urgent message from Elizabeth Foster. Cole's lawyers had filed emergency injunctions against their lawsuits, claiming harassment and defamation. "Think about it," Travis said, standing. "But don't take too long. Things are moving fast now." He left Skylar sitting there, knowing Marcus's surveillance would track her next moves. The meeting had confirmed what he suspected. Cracks were forming in their opponent's unity. Back at his temporary office, a secure location after Cole's pressure had cost him his original space, Travis reviewed the latest developments with his team. "Cole's getting desperate," Elizabeth reported via secure video call. "His lawyers are throwing everything they can at us. But each motion just gives us another platform to present evidence." Sarah Blackwood nodded in agreement. "My interview sparked a flood of calls from other victims. They're all willing to testify now that someone's finally standing up to him." Rachel Chen pulled up financial records on her laptop. "The forensic audit is almost complete. They won't be able to hide the money trail much longer." Travis studied the information before him. Cole's business empire showed increasing strain. Partners withdrawing, projects stalling, investors asking uncomfortable questions. Diana's social influence waned as more people distanced themselves from her desperate attempts to maintain control. Most importantly, youth center families had begun speaking out. Parents whose children lost programs due to misappropriated funds shared their stories. Cole's carefully crafted image as a philanthropist crumbled in the face of mounting evidence. "What about the criminal investigation?" Marcus asked, monitoring his surveillance feeds. "Moving forward," Travis confirmed. Cole's hired man gave them enough to justify a deeper look. Once they start following the money, the pieces were falling into place. Each attack from Cole and Skylar had been anticipated, each countermove planned months in advance. The man they dismissed as a simple security consultant had orchestrated their downfall. As the sun set on another day of calculated warfare, Travis met with James Martinez to review their progress. "Diana's running out of allies," James reported, his satisfaction evident. "All those society connections she valued so much, they're abandoning her as the truth comes out." And Skylar? Isolated, confused, starting to see how thoroughly she was manipulated. James studied Travis carefully. "You knew this would happen, didn't you?" knew they'd get desperate enough to try something illegal. Travis nodded. People show their true nature under pressure. Cole's pattern was clear. When charm fails, he turns to force. Diana relies on social warfare until it stops working. And Skylar. He paused. Skylar follows whoever she thinks is winning. The youth center break-in had been their critical error. In trying to destroy evidence, they'd given Travis exactly what he needed: proof of criminal intent. Now the carefully constructed facade of their lives crumbled under the weight of their own actions. Each day brought new developments. More victims came forward, encouraged by Sarah Blackwood's example. Elizabeth Foster's legal team filed additional suits, each supported by overwhelming evidence. Rachel Chen's financial documentation painted a damning picture of systematic fraud. Travis's Marine friends maintained their visible presence, a constant reminder that physical intimidation wouldn't work. Marcus's surveillance network tracked their opponents' increasingly desperate moves, ensuring no counterstrike went unnoticed. The war Travis had prepared for was reaching its climax. His opponents had played exactly as he'd predicted, falling into traps laid months in advance. The quiet security consultant had proved more dangerous than anyone imagined. Cole's attempt to frame Travis had backfired spectacularly, bringing renewed scrutiny to his own activities. Skylar's confident facade cracked under mounting pressure. Diana's social influence evaporated as the truth about her role emerged. But Travis took no pleasure in their downfall. This wasn't about revenge. It was about justice. About protecting others from experiencing the same betrayal. About holding the powerful accountable for their actions. As Act 2 drew to a close, Travis Reed stood undefeated, his strategic genius revealed through careful planning and patient execution. The war wasn't over, but the tide had turned decisively in his favor. His opponents had brought the fight to him, never realizing they were facing a master tactician who had anticipated their every move. Now they would learn why it was dangerous to underestimate a quiet man who lived by a code of honor and justice. Chapter 7. House of Cards. Marcus Wong's surveillance monitors displayed multiple feeds across his temporary command center. Each screen told a story of desperation. Cole Blackwood making frantic calls from his office, Skylar pacing in her luxury apartment, Diana Martinez arguing with her social circle at the country club. They're running scared, Marcus reported to Travis, who stood studying the feeds with military focus. Cole's been contacting travel agents specializing in non-extradition countries. Skylar's trying to access locked youth center files. Diana's burning through her last social favors. Travis nodded, checking his secure phone. Elizabeth's team is ready. All positions covered. Legal documents prepared. Sarah Blackwood's testimony recorded and notarized. James Martinez's evidence against Diana compiled. The pieces Travis had spent months positioning were ready to move. He pulled up his tactical schedule on a secure laptop, reviewing the coordinated strikes plan for the next 48 hours. His phone buzzed Rachel Chun. Mr. Reed? Cole's people are trying to destroy records at the youth center. They brought in IT specialists to wipe the servers. Let them try, Travis replied calmly. You secure the backups? Multiple copies, all encrypted and stored off-site. They don't know about the secondary accounting system I set up months ago. Travis allowed himself a small nod of approval. Rachel had proved invaluable, her quiet competence matching his own approach. Mr. Reed? Rachel's voice dropped lower. Skylar's here. She's demanding access to the financial databases. She seems unstable. Stay out of sight. Mike and John are en route. Travis switched to another line, connecting with Elizabeth Foster. Time to move. File the suits. Elizabeth's response was immediate. All teams coordinated. Civil actions being filed simultaneously in multiple jurisdictions. Sarah's testimony goes public in 30 minutes. The machine Travis had built began its inexorable advance. Years of military training had taught him the value of synchronized attacks, overwhelming the enemy's ability to respond effectively. His secure email pinged with updates. Elizabeth's legal team filed lawsuits exposing Cole's pattern of fraud across multiple states. Sarah Blackwood's testimony hit the media, breaking her NDA to reveal Cole's history of manipulation and financial theft. James Martinez chose this moment to release evidence of Diana's past misconduct, showing how she had systematically destroyed his reputation and stolen his company. The documents painted a damning picture of calculated destruction. Marcus's surveillance caught their reactions in real time. Cole Blackwood, watching his phone explode with messages from lawyers and business partners, his composed facade cracking. Diana Martinez, receiving calls from social contacts, suddenly distancing themselves. Skylar, realizing the depth of the trap she had helped create. Cole's making a move, Marcus reported, tracking multiple feeds. Private jet fueled and ready at the executive airport. Travis had anticipated this. John, in position. Airport security has been briefed. They're watching all private terminals. The next hours unfolded like a military operation. Cole's attempt to flee was blocked by careful coordination between Travis's team and local authorities. Skylar's frantic efforts to destroy evidence at the youth center met Rachel Chen's meticulous documentation. Diana Martinez made a last desperate attempt to control the narrative, hosting an emergency lunch for her remaining social circle. Travis watched through surveillance as she tried to spin the story, but her influence had evaporated in the face of overwhelming evidence. They're turning on each other, Marcus noted, monitoring phone communications. Cole's lawyers are suggesting Skylar acted alone. Skylar's telling people Cole manipulated her. Diana's blaming them both while trying to deny her own involvement. Travis had seen this before. In war zones, when carefully constructed alliances crumbled under pressure, people revealed their true nature when cornered. His phone lit up with a call from James Martinez. You need to see this. Diana's trying to transfer assets offshore. I've got documentation of wire transfers she attempted this morning. Send it to Elizabeth's team, Travis instructed. Add it to the civil suits. The pressure mounted as media outlets picked up the story. Sarah Blackwood's testimony sparked a flood of revelations from other victims. Business partners distanced themselves from Cole's enterprises, triggering a cascade of project cancellations. Travis coordinated it all from his secure command center, each move precisely timed for maximum impact. His Marines maintained surveillance, ensuring no evidence could be destroyed, no escape attempted. Rachel Chen's financial documentation proved crucial, revealing how youth center funds had been systematically looted. Parents whose children lost programs due to misappropriated money began speaking out, adding personal impact to the Cole numbers. By nightfall, the damage was irreversible. Cole's business empire showed multiple fractures as investors fled and partners withdrew. Skylar's position at the youth center became untenable as board members demanded accountability. Diana's social influence, built over decades, crumbled in hours. Travis watched it unfold with the detachment of a military commander. This wasn't about revenge, it was about justice, about protecting others from experiencing similar betrayals. His phone buzzed again. Elizabeth Foster. Travis? You need to see the latest financial reports. The scope of Cole's fraud, it's bigger than we thought. Multiple charities, millions in misappropriated funds. Send everything to the authorities, Travis directed. Time to let the legal system take over. The man everyone had dismissed as a simple security consultant had orchestrated their complete dismantling. Each attack they had launched against him only sprung another trap, revealed more evidence, brought more allies to his cause. Travis's network moved born of careful planning. Elizabeth's legal team filed additional suits as new evidence emerged. James Martinez's documentation exposed decades of financial manipulation. Sarah Blackwood's testimony inspired other victims to come forward. The carefully constructed world Skylar and Cole had built collapsed under its own weight. Diana's attempts to maintain control only highlighted her desperation. The truth, once exposed, proved unstoppable. Travis Reed, the quiet professional they had underestimated, watched as justice unfolded according to his carefully laid plans. Chapter 8. The Fall. Travis sat in his lawyer's office, reviewing the divorce proceedings' final documentation. The evidence he had accumulated painted a devastating picture, not just of Skylar's infidelity, but of calculated betrayal and financial fraud. These text messages, his lawyer indicated a particular file, show clear premeditation. Skylar and Cole discussing how to manipulate you, planning how to exploit your trust. The timestamps match perfectly with the financial transfers from youth center accounts. Travis nodded, remembering the pain of discovering those messages. But emotion had no place in this phase of his operation. His phone buzzed, Marcus sending updates. Cole Blackwood's last attempt to salvage his business empire had failed spectacularly. Major investors withdrew support as evidence of systematic fraud became public. Development projects stalled, contracts canceled, partners distanced themselves. Cole's lawyers are attempting a plea deal, Marcus reported. They're offering to testify against Skylar and Diana in exchange for leniency. Travis had anticipated this too. Cole's pattern held true. When charm failed, he turned to betrayal. Across town, Diana Martinez faced her own reckoning. Her carefully cultivated social circle, built over decades of manipulation and implied threats, dissolved as the truth emerged. James Martinez's evidence exposed how she had stolen his company, destroyed his reputation, poisoned his relationship with their daughter. Travis's phone lit up with another update. Rachel Chen. The forensic audit is complete. They found everything: fake invoices, shell companies, diverted grant money. The district attorney's office is preparing charges. The youth center board met in emergency session, reviewing the evidence Travis had helped accumulate. Skylar's resignation became inevitable as the scale of financial misconduct became clear. Your wife's lawyers are requesting a meeting, Travis's attorney reported. They're hoping to negotiate a settlement before the criminal charges are filed. Travis shook his head. No deals. Let the evidence speak for itself. The divorce proceedings revealed the full scope of Skylar's betrayal. Text messages showed her mocking Travis's devotion while planning to exploit his trust. Financial records detailed how she had spent youth center money on her affair with Cole: expensive restaurants, hotel rooms, shopping sprees. Diana made a final attempt to protect her daughter, offering Travis a substantial settlement to keep certain evidence private. He declined without hesitation. This wasn't about money. It was about accountability. Marcus's surveillance team documented Cole's increasingly desperate moves. Attempts to hide assets, destroy records, pressure witnesses, all anticipated, all countered by Travis's careful planning. Elizabeth Foster's legal team filed additional suits, Marcus reported. 3 more families came forward with evidence of Cole's fraud schemes. Sarah Blackwood's testimony opened the floodgates. Travis reviewed the mounting evidence on his secure laptop. Each new revelation confirmed the pattern. Cole targeting wealthy families through charity organizations, Diana providing social legitimacy, systematic financial fraud following carefully established relationships. The court's judgment proved devastating. Skylar lost everything in the divorce: property, assets, reputation. The evidence Travis presented left no room for sympathy or leniency. Criminal investigations gained momentum as more victims came forward. Cole's other targets, emboldened by Sarah Blackwood's example, shared their stories. Each account matched the established pattern, building an overwhelming case. Diana Martinez's social standing, once seemingly unassailable, crumbled under the weight of exposed truth. The community she had ruled through subtle manipulation turned against her as evidence of her role emerged. Travis coordinated with his allies, ensuring each new revelation received maximum impact. Elizabeth Foster's legal team systematically dismantled Cole's remaining defenses. James Martinez's evidence prevented Diana from hiding assets or maintaining control. The fall happened faster than anyone expected. Cole's business empire collapsed as investors fled and projects failed. Skylar's carefully crafted image as a philanthropic leader shattered, leaving her facing criminal charges and social ostracism. Diana's attempts to maintain influence backfired spectacularly. Her former social circle, realizing the depth of her manipulation, turned against her. The woman who had orchestrated so much destruction found herself isolated and powerless. Travis watched it unfold with the detachment of a military commander. Each move had been planned, each reaction anticipated. The quiet security consultant they had underestimated had proved more dangerous than anyone imagined. Chapter 9. Phoenix Rising. The youth center's main hall buzzed with positive energy as children and teenagers engaged in new programs. Travis stood in the doorway, observing the transformation with quiet satisfaction. Rachel Chen approached, carrying enrollment reports. We're at full capacity for the summer sessions. The new funding structure you helped design is working perfectly. Travis nodded, noting how Rachel had grown more confident in her role as the center's financial director. The transparent accounting system, in place and publicly accessible. No one can hide financial misconduct anymore. The center had become a model of responsible management under their guidance. Travis's security expertise combined with Rachel's financial acumen created systems that protected both assets and mission. His phone buzzed Elizabeth Foster. The foundation is ready to launch. We've already identified 3 families needing support after similar fraud schemes. Travis had worked closely with Elizabeth and other victims to create a support network. Their combined experiences and resources would help others recover from financial predators like Cole. James Martinez visited regularly, his business expertise helping strengthen the center's operations. The father Skylar had rejected proved invaluable in rebuilding what she had nearly destroyed. The community response has been overwhelming, James reported during their weekly meeting. Local businesses want to partner with us, support our programs. They trust your leadership, Travis. Travis's security consulting business thrived as his story spread. Clients appreciated both his protective skills and his demonstrated integrity. The man Cole and Diana had tried to destroy emerged stronger, more respected. Marcus Wong and the other Marines became partners in his expanding company. Their combined experience created an unmatched security consulting team, dedicated to protecting clients from both physical and financial threats. We've got requests from 3 other cities, Marcus reported. Organizations wanting us to review their protective systems, verify their financial controls. Your reputation for thoroughness is spreading. Travis maintained his focus on the youth center's mission while expanding his business. The children they served remained his priority. Their success his most meaningful revenge against those who had betrayed their trust. Rachel Chen's loyalty earned her a partnership role in his security firm. Her financial expertise complemented their protective services, creating comprehensive security solutions. The final scene at Le Blanc restaurant became a turning point in community memory. Travis's quiet strength in the face of public humiliation, his systematic exposure of corruption, taught powerful lessons about justice and accountability. His Marine code, loyalty, honor, protection of the vulnerable, proved more powerful than wealth or social status. The community learned to value substance over appearance, integrity over charm. Travis Reed's office overlooked the youth center's playground, a daily reminder of why he had fought so hard. The sound of children's laughter replaced memories of betrayal, their futures secured by his unwavering dedication to justice. He reviewed applications for the center's expanded programs, each one representing a life they could positively impact. The true victory wasn't in destroying Cole's schemes or exposing Diana's manipulation. It lay in creating something meaningful from the wreckage of betrayal. His phone buzzed with updates from his growing network of allies. Elizabeth Foster coordinating foundation support for fraud victims. James Martinez developing new youth programs. Rachel Chen implementing financial safeguards for other organizations. Travis Reed had won more than revenge. He had built a legacy of protection and positive change. The quiet professional they had underestimated became a force for justice. His military training serving a mission far beyond personal vindication. The community learned its lesson. Sometimes the most dangerous opponents are those who fight with honor, patience, and unwavering dedication to what's right. Travis Reed's victory proved that justice, properly pursued, was the ultimate revenge. Epilogue, 5 years later. Travis Reed stood at the podium, addressing the gathered crowd at the National Conference on Youth Program Security. His security consulting firm, Reed Protection Services, had become the gold standard for protecting charitable organizations from both external and internal threats. 5 years ago, we learned a hard lesson about trust, Travis began, his voice carrying the same quiet authority that had served him through military service and personal battles. Today, we're not just teaching organizations how to protect their assets. We're showing them how to protect their missions. The audience included representatives from hundreds of youth centers and charitable organizations across the country. Many had implemented the comprehensive security protocols his team had developed, combining physical security with financial safeguards. Marcus Wong, now Chief Operations Officer of Reed Protection Services, sat in the front row beside Rachel Chun, the company's financial security director. Their partnership had expanded beyond the original youth center, helping countless organizations prevent the kind of fraud that had nearly destroyed their own. After the presentation, Travis met with his executive team in a private conference room. The walls displayed awards and recognition for their pioneering work in organizational security, but Travis's focus remained on their ongoing mission. The Foster Reed Foundation identified 3 new cases last month, Elizabeth Foster reported, her role as foundation director, allowing her to continue helping families affected by financial fraud. We're providing legal support and recovery assistance. The foundation, born from their shared experience with Cole Blackwood schemes, have become a powerful force for justice and recovery. They not only help victims, but work to prevent future fraud through education and system implementation. Speaking of prevention, Rachel Chen added, pulling up detailed statistics on her tablet. Our new financial tracking software has been implemented in over 200 organizations. We've already stopped 12 attempted fraud schemes this year alone. Travis nodded, remembering how Rachel's quiet competence had helped expose the truth years ago. Her expertise now protected countless others from similar betrayal. James Martinez called, Marcus mentioned, referring to Travis's former father-in-law, who had become a trusted ally and friend. The business mentorship program at the youth center is exceeding expectations. They're expanding to 3 new locations next month. James had found redemption through his work with the youth center, using his business experience to create opportunities for underprivileged teens. His relationship with Travis had grown into a genuine friendship, bound by shared values and dedication to helping others. What about Sarah Blackwood? Travis asked, thinking of Cole's ex-wife whose testimony had proved crucial years ago. Still running the support network for fraud survivors, Elizabeth replied. Her groups have helped hundreds of families rebuild their lives. She's turning her experience into something positive, just like we did. The conversation turned to updates on their former opponents. Cole Blackwood remained in federal prison, his empire destroyed, his schemes exposed. His attempt to flee justice had failed, leading to additional charges and a longer sentence. Skylar had served 18 months for her role in the financial fraud, emerging to find herself ostracized from the social circles she had once dominated. Reports suggested she had moved to another state, attempting to rebuild her life far from the community she had betrayed. Diana Martinez, stripped of social influence and financial power, had retreated to a small house in Florida. Her carefully constructed world of social manipulation had crumbled, leaving her isolated and irrelevant. But Travis took no pleasure in their downfall. His focus remained on prevention and protection, using their story to help others avoid similar fates. The youth center itself had become a model of transparent operation and effective programming. Under Travis's guidance, they had implemented comprehensive security measures that protected both assets and mission. The children they served thrived in programs funded by legitimate grants and honest donations. The new security training program starts next week, Marcus reported, returning to current business. We've got 15 organizations sending representatives. Mike and John are leading the physical security sessions. Travis's Marine friends had become integral parts of his organization, and dedication perfectly suited to their protective mission. Mike Ramirez headed their training division, while John Chin managed field operations. Rachel's team will handle the financial security modules, Marcus continued. We're using case studies from prevented frauds to show real-world applications. Rachel's department had developed sophisticated systems for detecting and preventing financial misconduct. Their methods, born from their experience with Cole and Skylar schemes, now protected millions in charitable assets. After the meeting, Travis visited the youth center that had started it all. The building hummed with positive energy as children engaged in after-school programs. New security cameras monitored the premises, but their presence was discreet, protecting without intimidating. James Martinez greeted him in the main office, now serving as board chairman. Travis, just in time to hear some good news. Remember that kid from the mentorship program? Marcus Johnson? He just got accepted to business school. Travis smiled, remembering the troubled teen who had found direction through their programs. Stories like his represented the real victory. Lives changed, potential realized, trust rewarded rather than betrayed. They walked through the center, observing classes and activities. The transparent financial management systems Rachel had designed were visible in action, each transaction properly documented and verified. The staff worked with confidence, knowing their efforts served their mission rather than hidden agendas. Later that evening, Travis met Elizabeth Foster for their monthly foundation review. The Foster Reed Foundation had expanded its mission beyond just helping fraud victims, now working to create systemic changes in how charitable organizations operated. "We've got something interesting," Elizabeth mentioned, pulling up a file. A pattern of suspicious activities at a hospital foundation in Denver, similar to Cole's old methods. Travis studied the information, his security training automatically identifying potential threats. "Send everything to Marcus. We'll start quiet surveillance, see if we can prevent another tragedy before it happens." Their work had evolved from reaction to prevention, from exposure to protection. The lessons learned from their own experience now served to shield others from similar betrayals. The Foundation's offices displayed photos of families they had helped, organizations they had protected, systems they had improved. Each image represented a victory not just over fraud, but over the kind of betrayal that had once threatened to destroy their own community. Sarah Blackwood's latest support group has 30 members, Elizabeth reported. They're all at different stages of recovery, but having her lead them through it, it makes a difference. She shows them there's life after betrayal. Travis nodded, understanding the importance of that message. His own journey had taught him that true victory lay not in destruction, but in creation, not in revenge, but in protection. His phone buzzed with a message from Marcus, another organization requesting their services, another opportunity to prevent fraud before it could take root. The work never ended, but each case they prevented represented lives protected, missions preserved. That night, driving home past the youth center, Travis reflected on the changes 5 years had brought. The pain of betrayal had transformed into purpose, the quest for justice into a mission of protection. His military training, once used in war zones, now served to protect vulnerable organizations and the people who depended on them. Reed Protection Services had grown into something far beyond a simple security firm. They had created a model for organizational integrity, combining physical security with financial protection and mission preservation. Their methods, born from painful experience, now helped others avoid similar trials. The Foster Reed Foundation continued identifying and supporting fraud victims while working to prevent future cases. Elizabeth's leadership had turned their shared pain into a force for positive change, helping families rebuild while strengthening organizational defenses. Rachel Chen's financial security protocols had become industry standards, implemented in organizations across the country. Her quiet competence had evolved into recognized expertise, her systems protecting millions in charitable assets. Marcus Wong's operational leadership had expanded their reach nationally, coordinating protection services for organizations of all sizes. The skills honed in military service now served to protect those dedicated to helping others. James Martinez had found new purpose in mentoring young entrepreneurs, using his business experience to create opportunities rather than obstacles. His reconciliation with the community proved that redemption was possible through genuine service. Mike Ramirez and John Chun led training programs that combined military precision with practical application, teaching organizations how to protect themselves while maintaining their charitable missions. Their presence remained a reminder that strength could serve protection rather than intimidation. Sarah Blackwood's support networks helped hundreds of fraud victims rebuild their lives, turning her own painful experience into a source of hope for others. Her courage in breaking silence had inspired many to seek help and justice. The youth center itself had become a model of transparent operation and effective programming. Children thrived in secure environments, supported by properly managed resources and protected by comprehensive security systems. Travis's office overlooked the center's playground, a daily reminder of why their mission mattered. The sound of children's laughter, the sight of lives being positively impacted, represented the true victory over those who had once threatened everything they valued. His phone buzzed again, another request for help, another organization seeking protection. Travis reviewed the message, already planning how to prevent another potential tragedy. The work continued, each day bringing new opportunities to protect those who served others. The quiet security consultant had become a recognized leader in organizational protection, his methods studied and implemented nationally. But Travis Reed remained focused on the fundamental mission, protecting those who helped others, preserving the trust that made charitable work possible. 5 years had transformed their story from one of betrayal and revenge into one of protection and positive change. The lessons learned through pain now served to prevent others from experiencing similar trauma. The network of allies built during their darkest times had become a force for positive transformation throughout the charitable sector. Travis Reed's legacy wasn't the destruction of those who had betrayed him. It was the protection of countless others from similar betrayal. The true victory lay not in what they had torn down, but in what they had built in its place. And somewhere in the city, in his office overlooking the youth center he had helped save, Travis Reed allowed himself a moment of satisfaction. The mission continued, the work evolved, but the core purpose remained, protecting those who served others, preserving trust, preventing betrayal. That, he knew, was the greatest revenge of all, turning personal pain into universal protection, individual justice into systemic change. The quiet professional had transformed tragedy into triumph, not through destruction but through creation. The story that began with betrayal had become one of redemption, not just for Travis but for all those who joined his mission of protection and positive change. 5 years had proved that the strongest response to betrayal wasn't revenge. It was the creation of systems that prevented such betrayal from happening to others. Travis Reed's code of loyalty and protection had become a blueprint for organizational integrity, serving to guard those who served others. The security consultant had become a protector of missions, a preserver of trust, a guardian of those who helped others. And that mission, he knew, would continue as long as there were organizations needing protection, missions requiring defense, and people dedicated to serving others who deserve to be protected from betrayal. And there you have it. Another story comes to an end. What did you think? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoy this story, consider joining our community by subscribing. It means the world to us. For more stories like this one, check out the recommended videos on screen. And I'll see you there.